Did you know that 1 in every 5 people living in England's biggest cities is now planning to move away before 2026? Rising crime, collapsing councils, sky-high rent, and even flooding threats are turning once-loved cities into ticking time bombs. And what's even more shocking, some of these cities are the very places people dreamed of moving to just a few years ago. From London's insane rent prices to Birmingham's financial meltdown, and even coastal towns sinking under climate pressure, something big is changing across England. Families are leaving, jobs are disappearing, and quality of life is dropping fast. So before you sign that new lease or buy that perfect home, you need to know which 10 cities experts say you should leave immediately, because one of them might be yours. Number 10. Luton. Once known as a working-class hub with affordable housing and decent job opportunities, Luton has become one of the most concerning cities in England to live in heading into 2026. What was once a thriving commuter town for London workers is now struggling with some of the worst living conditions in the southeast. According to recent government data, Luton ranks among the top 10 UK areas for crime, and residents report feeling less safe than ever before. Violent crime and antisocial behaviour have jumped sharply over the past 2 years. On top of that, air quality has plummeted, with pollution levels higher than central London in some districts. Imagine waking up to constant traffic fumes, overcrowded streets, and no green spaces to breathe freely. But that's not the only problem. The town's infrastructure is buckling under pressure. With schools and healthcare services stretched beyond capacity, rents have soared, yet wages haven't kept up. Many families are leaving in search of cleaner, safer, and more affordable areas like Bedford or Milton Keynes. What makes Luton's story even sadder is that it once had potential, with London Luton Airport driving local growth. Now residents are questioning whether that same airport has brought too much congestion, noise, and pollution to handle. So if you're living in Luton and feeling that tension in the air, you're not alone. Thousands have already made the decision to pack up and leave before things get worse. Number 9. Portsmouth. Portsmouth might be famous for its rich naval history, beautiful coastal views, and lively harbour front. But beneath that charm lies a growing crisis that most residents don't want to talk about. Experts are warning that by 2026, parts of Portsmouth could face serious flooding risks due to rising sea levels and extreme weather patterns. The Environment Agency even listed the city as one of the most climate-vulnerable areas in southern England. Insurance companies are quietly increasing premiums, landlords are selling off properties, and families who've lived there for generations are now reconsidering their future. It's not just about water creeping closer. It's about everything that comes with it. Damp homes, property value drops, and a growing sense of uncertainty. And it doesn't stop there. Portsmouth's air quality ranks among the lowest on the south coast, and traffic congestion has reached record highs. With limited room to expand and aging infrastructure, many feel trapped, paying more for less comfort and security every year. The city's local economy still relies heavily on maritime industries, but with global shipping shifts and automation, jobs are becoming less stable. Residents describe it as living in a city on pause, beautiful, nostalgic, but slowly sinking under its own weight. So if you live in Portsmouth, here's a question worth asking. Would you stay and risk it, or leave while you still can? Comment below. What do you think about Portsmouth's future? Do you believe it can recover? And if you're finding these insights eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. More shocking UK city truths are coming next week. Number 8. Leeds. There's something fascinating about Leeds. On the surface, it looks unstoppable. Cranes decorating the skyline, new apartments sprouting every month, and headlines calling it the Northern Powerhouse. But behind that shiny facade, locals will tell you a very different story. Leeds is growing, yes, but maybe too fast. The average rent here has risen over 35% in the last 3 years, while wages have barely moved. First-time buyers are getting priced out, and students are competing with young professionals for the same overpriced flats. Every week seems to bring a new luxury development, but not enough affordable homes. Then there's the traffic. Leeds was ranked one of the most congested cities in the UK in 2024, even worse than Manchester during rush hour. Add to that crumbling roads, underfunded public transport, and a rail network that hasn't caught up with the city's expansion, and you've got a recipe for daily frustration. And while tech companies and financial firms continue setting up offices here, small businesses are quietly struggling. Independent shops and family-run cafes can't keep up with rent hikes and corporate competition. Many are simply closing their doors for good. Leeds isn't collapsing, not yet. But it's teetering on a line between progress and burnout. It's the kind of city where opportunity shines bright until you try to afford living close enough to reach it. For many long-time residents, the Leeds they once loved is starting to fade, replaced by a faster, pricier, more impatient version of itself. Number 7. Sheffield. If you walk through Sheffield today, you'll still hear the pride in people's voices when they talk about its past. The steelworks, the industry, the sense of purpose that once defined the city. But lately, that pride feels mixed with something else: exhaustion. Once the beating heart of British manufacturing, Sheffield has been trying to reinvent itself for years. The problem? The new identity never fully replaced the old one. Factories closed, jobs vanished, and what came next hasn't been enough to fill the gap. Wages here remain below the national average, and even though the cost of living is lower than in Manchester or Leeds, it's climbing faster than anyone expected. Young professionals leave for better opportunities, while older residents feel stuck in neighborhoods that have lost their spark. The city centre tells its own story: boarded-up shops beside shiny new apartments that most locals can't afford. Public transport, once reliable, now struggles with delays and cut routes. Many residents joke that getting from one side of Sheffield to the other feels like travelling between two different worlds. And yet there's still hope. You can sense it in the community projects, the student energy, the music that spills out from small venues at night. But optimism alone can't fix decades of underinvestment. Sheffield isn't broken, but it's tired. The people haven't given up. They're just waiting for their city to catch up with their resilience. Number 6. Liverpool. Liverpool has rhythm. It always has. From the Beatles' legacy to the electric football nights at Anfield, there's a heartbeat in this city that refuses to stop. But behind that music, behind the pride and passion, Liverpool is quietly fighting a battle it's not winning. The city that once powered Britain's ports is now grappling with an economic slowdown that's hard to ignore. Decades after the docks closed, regeneration projects promised a brighter future. And for a while it worked. Trendy waterfront apartments, new museums, a booming nightlife. But by 2025, the cracks started to show again. According to local data, Liverpool's unemployment rate remains higher than the national average, and younger workers are leaving for Manchester or London in search of stability. The cost of living has gone up, but wages haven't followed. For many families, every month feels like a balancing act, just trying to make it to payday. Even the city's famous culture sector, once its pride, has been hit hard. Venues are closing, and arts funding has dropped. It's becoming harder to sustain the creative spark that once made Liverpool shine so brightly. Walk through the city centre and you'll still feel the spirit. Street performers singing, laughter spilling from pubs. But look closer and you'll see empty shops, for sale signs, and people wondering if the city's best days are behind it. Liverpool isn't dying. It's enduring. But endurance comes with fatigue, and the question remains: how long can it keep dancing before the music fades? Number 5. Nottingham. Nottingham, the city of legends, history, and student life. On the surface, it's buzzing: packed pubs, vibrant campuses, and endless events. But look just a little deeper, and you'll find one of the most worrying declines happening anywhere in England right now. Over the past 2 years, Nottingham has faced a surge in crime rates that shocked even long-time residents. Police data from 2024 showed violent incidents rising by nearly 20%, with burglary and theft climbing steadily. Locals say certain areas now feel unsafe after dark, something that was unthinkable a decade ago. But the story doesn't stop there. The Nottingham City Council has been drowning in financial troubles, struggling to balance budgets after years of mismanagement. Public services are being cut, street maintenance is lagging, and waste collection delays have become routine. The city that once thrived on its balance of culture and affordability now feels unstable and under pressure. Even students, Nottingham's heartbeat, are starting to question whether staying here is worth it. Rents have jumped, house shares are overcrowded, and transport costs keep climbing. Locals describe it as death by 1,000 cuts. Not one big disaster, but 1,000 small declines adding up. And yet, the most painful part is how unnoticed it's all gone. The headlines still show a lively city, but those living there feel the slow erosion every day. Nottingham doesn't need another Robin Hood. It needs leadership, stability, and a serious reset before it becomes another cautionary tale in England's urban crisis. Number 4. Bristol. Bristol, the city that sells itself as the future. Colourful street art, electric scooters zipping past the harbour side, and that irresistible blend of eco-conscious living and creative freedom. On social media, it looks perfect, the kind of place everyone wants to move to. But behind the picture-perfect reels, the reality is very different. Over the past few years, Bristol has quietly become one of the least affordable cities in England. The average rent for a one-bedroom flat now rivals parts of London, with prices up over 40% since 2020. For many locals, the dream of living in the city they grew up in is slipping away. Young professionals commute from miles outside the centre because they simply can't afford to stay. And while the city prides itself on being green, congestion and pollution have reached record highs. Bristol ranked among the UK's most traffic-clogged cities, and air quality warnings are becoming more common than clear skies. Then there's the pressure of the student boom. With 2 major universities, the demand for housing has exploded, pushing long-time residents out of neighbourhoods they've called home for decades. Bristol still feels alive, creative, rebellious, and full of energy. But that energy is now shadowed by frustration. People love this city. They just can't afford to live in it anymore. For a place that built its reputation on progress, Bristol is facing a future where progress might mean leaving it behind. Number 3. Manchester. Manchester, the city that never stops growing. Glass towers rising, cranes stretching toward the sky, tech startups and trendy cafes on every corner. It's the poster child of the North, ambitious, creative, unstoppable. But beneath that unstoppable energy, something's starting to crack. In just the last 5 years, Manchester's population has surged, yet housing hasn't kept pace. Average rent prices are up more than 45% since 2019, and locals say it's now harder to find an affordable flat here than in some parts of London. The city's success is pricing out the very people who built its culture: students, artists, and working families. Then there's the infrastructure problem. Roads are choked with traffic, buses are overcrowded, and public transport delays have become part of daily life. The skyline looks futuristic, but the systems supporting it feel decades behind. And while Manchester still buzzes with nightlife and innovation, crime rates have also climbed, with antisocial behaviour and property theft becoming more common. Residents love the energy, but not the pressure that comes with it. For many, Manchester's transformation feels like a double-edged sword. Progress and burnout living side by side. It's the city where dreams are made, but also where they can quickly become unaffordable. Manchester isn't failing. It's overheating. If the pace doesn't slow down soon, the city's bright lights might start to burn out the very people they were meant to attract. Number 2. Birmingham. Birmingham, the beating heart of the Midlands, a city once full of pride, progress, and promise. But in 2023, that heart skipped a beat. When the council declared effective bankruptcy, the news shook the entire country. How could England's second-largest city run out of money? The answer is complicated and devastating. Years of financial mismanagement, costly equal pay claims, and overambitious projects have drained the city's coffers. Public services, from street repairs to waste collection, have been slashed. Libraries have closed, social care has been cut, and the people who depend on these services are paying the price. Residents describe Birmingham today as a city running on fumes. Streetlights go unfixed, litter piles up, and council workers are stretched beyond breaking point. The once vibrant local economy feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to give. But the most unsettling part isn't just the financial collapse, it's the loss of trust. For decades, Birmingham was seen as the powerhouse of the Midlands, a symbol of working-class strength and diversity. Now many feel betrayed by those in charge, questioning whether the city can ever recover its former glory. Despite it all, there's resilience here. Small businesses fighting to stay open, communities helping each other survive the cuts. But make no mistake, Birmingham is on a knife's edge. If urgent reforms don't come soon, the UK's second city could become its biggest cautionary tale. Number 1, London. London, the capital, the dream, the symbol of opportunity. Millions still believe it's the place where success begins. But in 2025, that dream is starting to fade, fast. Behind the skyline of shining glass towers and the glow of the London Eye, a quiet exodus is underway. Thousands are leaving every month, driven out by the one thing they can no longer escape: the cost of surviving here. The average rent for a modest one-bedroom flat has crossed £2,500 a month. Transport prices keep climbing, and the average London salary simply can't keep up. Even professionals earning £60,000 a year are calling it unlivable. And it's not just about money. Air quality is among the worst in Western Europe. Commutes stretch into hours. Crime rates in several boroughs have surged, while basic public services strain under pressure. London feels fast, glamorous, and increasingly hollow. Many Londoners describe life here as running on a treadmill you can't step off. The pace, the noise, the endless costs, it's no longer sustainable. Families are moving to Kent, Essex, and even the Midlands, chasing a simpler life that doesn't drain their wallets or their sanity. London isn't dying, but it's transforming into a city that belongs to the wealthy few. For everyone else, it's becoming what they never thought it would be: a place to leave behind. And that's the reality. England's crown jewel may still sparkle, but for millions, the shine has lost its warmth. So what do you think? Is your city safe, or is it already on the edge of decline? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your stories help others see the truth. And if you haven't yet, go watch our previous video. It connects perfectly with this one. We pour hours of research and effort into every upload, so please, support us with a subscribe. It's just one click, but it means the world to us.